I talk all the time about food, nutrition, holistic health and wellness for people. I have never, ever before talked about this topic, holistic health and wellness for your pets. And it is such an important topic. We love our little furry friends, our fur babies. And so today I am delighted to be speaking to my friend, colleague, and fellow alum, Wilma Shaw, who is going to tell us all about her journey and share some really wonderful things with us that we need to think about when it comes to taking care of our furry friends who live in our family. So, Wilma, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm very excited to share.
Yeah, this is going to be great. So, I want to start by asking you how you got into holistic nutrition, and then from there, how you transitioned to pets.
Yeah, that's great because it has been a journey. I actually am a trained electrical engineer
Oh,
and
my.
went through school and got a master's in business and decided shortly before I turned around 53 that I was ready for something different. And that something different was improved health. My health was failing. I was stressed, A-type personality, AAA, my mother used to call me endearingly. And I had blood sugar problems, which I didn't understand. And the doctor was like, let's wait and see what happens. And nobody was giving me help. And so that's how I ended up in holistic nutrition and ended up loving it and realizing that not only can I help myself, but I can help others. Decided to leave my engineering corporate career and decided to make my own business, Embrace Nutrition.
I
And
think
that
that's a pretty common story for a lot of us. We started in something else, and then in the course of fixing ourselves, discovered our life's passion.
yes,
But
yes,
But you're
absolutely.
the first one that I've met who took the holistic health for people and then went in a totally different direction with that. So how did that happen?
Oh, with the pets, with dogs,
Yeah.
cats. Yeah, it's not even a totally different direction, I don't think. I think my whole path has been from systems engineering to people engineering and systems to our cats and dogs engineering and systems. And what happened, so this is to me very fortuitous, we started fostering. And we were fostering dogs. I've had dogs and cats in the past, but most recently kitties. And as we're fostering, I'm just starting to communicate and network more with other pet parents, right? Because when you are walking a dog, people stop and talk to you.
Of course.
And yeah, and I'm finding out, oh, my dog has IBS. My dog has this issue. My dog has cancer. My dog has arthritis. And I'm just going, what is going on here? Then in one of our colleagues' Facebook pages, somebody mentioned this Dr. Ruth and her holistic pet health coaching program. I was not looking for it. And I said, oh God, this feels right. Like it just felt right. And I reached out to her, had a chat with her, signed up, took the course, got certified, and am now working with dogs and cats on their wellness and their pet parents, of course.
Yeah, obviously. Wait, so was it because your fosters had issues or just because so many people that you met had pets with issues?
Yeah, that's interesting. My fosters at that time did not really have issues other than the intermittent diarrhea that you just chalked up to, okay, they've got a tummy ache, you give them chicken and rice and broth for a day or two and then put them back. But I did end up adopting a
Oh,
dog that was not a foster, but in the same program.
yeah.
And when we got her, we did have problems. She did have that diarrhea, and we would put her on the chicken and the broth and the rice, and she would be better and then get worse again. And so this didn't actually have anything to do with me getting into the pet health and wellness area, but I was so glad that I was, because that's how I learned how to take care of her.
And so you are certified now as
Yes.
a holistic pet wellness practitioner. And so you don't see people anymore, you only see pets?
No, I see both. I
Oh,
see
there you
people
go.
and pets. And Mira, you might be surprised or not at how many maladies are common
Mm,
between the pet parent and the pet. And
yeah,
so I will oftentimes start seeing both.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So when it comes to people, you and I are both practitioners, and when we work with our clients, we're making a lot of recommendations for them about how to make changes to their diet, things that they should include, exclude, whatever, things to watch out for, holistic life remedies, that kind of thing. So what kind of I guess I should say, how do you feel about pet food? Because
Oh
that's such
gosh.
a contentious issue for so many people.
Yeah, it is. And yeah. And it's a whole conversation in itself, right? So there's movies made. One of them is Pet Fooled. Yeah, that it was on either Netflix or Prime, but very interesting movie about the pet food industry. You and I probably have very similar feelings about the large company, the human food
Mhm.
industry. It's very similar. It's all about how much profit can we make on the food that we're selling. And so when it comes to pet food, I feel similarly. I want animals to eat real food, nutrient dense, real food. But there is bioindividuality in our pets, not just cats versus dogs, but you have to look at each dog separately and you have to look at each cat as a separate kitty.
Mm.
So a lot of people, myself included, used to be just raw food, raw food, raw food. That was the ultimate health goal is they eat raw food, they'll be the healthiest. And that's true for some dogs and cats. Other dogs and cats are better with a cooked food. And it really just depends on how your pet responds to the food, how their digestion is. So when it comes to the bags of kibble, and when I say kibble, I just mean highly processed, dried food.
Yeah.
Think about what that is. Yeah, it has vegetables. You can read ingredients. Some of them look pretty good and some of them just look horrific just from reading the label. And you're all into reading labels. So,
No, and I fail to understand, as I believe, I don't know if this is true or not, dogs are essentially colorblind. So I don't understand why we need colorful dog food. They don't really care. As far as my dogs, we've owned several dogs in our life cycle so far. They have no taste buds. They're little vacuum cleaners. They don't care if there's sugar in there and they don't need it. So, like all the things that they do. So, I think kibble is really hard. And I know a lot of people then switch to canned food because they feel like it's better for them. Is
mm,
it?
there's a whole range of better. So, what does one thing canned food has? It has moisture. Oh, that is good. It's hard to out exercise a poor diet. It's hard to drink enough water and hydrate away a kibble diet. You
Oh.
will notice that dogs that eat kibble drink water constantly. Their noses tend to be a little drier. They're just
Mm.
not hydrated very well. It's sucking the moisture out of them. And canned foods, one thing I learned when we were fostering is because they gave us some canned food. It was like 6 freaking cans of food for this 65-pound dog a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's because of the moisture. So kibble, one of the benefits is you can pack in a whole bunch of calories and nutrients, I put in quotes, into a small package, right? So you can get a 25-pound bag and that's going to feed your dog for a while because it's a lot of nutrients. But the food is highly processed, it's dried, it's just not providing the nutrient denseness that they need. And all the vitamins are added. Everything's just like it's taken out and
Yeah, it's like
added
ours.
back.
It's all analogs. It's not from nature if it's a processed food.
Yeah, and you know how wonderful you are at helping people understand how to read food labels? It is so difficult to read an animal food
Mm.
label. You cannot figure out easily the fat, the carbohydrates, and the protein
Yeah.
and the moisture. And I would say I don't know why they make it so difficult, but I think we do know. It's hard to understand, just like how our food label, we keep trying to make changes to it to make it easier for people to make.
And I would venture a guess, not everyone reads a people food label, even fewer people read a pet food label.
Yes. Yeah, I think I would love for people watching this to, when they're at the store, look at the back and don't just go by the all natural chicken and turkey, because when you read it, it is going to have not just chicken and turkey, it's going to have some bone meal from pork or
Mhm.
beef. It has all this other stuff in it, floor sweet.
Well, and one of the things that I learned was when it says byproducts, that can
Mhm,
mean things like skin and feathers,
mhm.
because those are high in nitrogen and protein, and so it makes their count go up on the nutrition side of the label. It's very hard to pick a good pet food, and I think also it's really challenging sometimes because you don't know exactly what is the best option? There's so many out there and there's so much advertising. It can be really challenging. So moving beyond that, I guess the answer is people have to work with you to figure out what the best option is for their pet, you or someone like you. But
But
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, but what I wanna say about that is people can be armed with information just like with your labels. Pick as few ingredients as
Mm,
possible, byproducts, avoid all the oils, the seed oils that are in there, even other oils. Flaxseed is usually a problem for our pets, as healthy as it is for us. So look for the fewest ingredients, and that's a place to start.
and no artificial anything. They don't need it. We don't need it. They don't need it.
Yeah, especially no sugar.
I know, I don't
Yeah.
know, but like I said, I don't know why they put sugar in it. I just don't get it because mine's a vacuum. Like he
Yes.
even so his favorite snack is carrots, and
Mhm.
I have to cut them small because he will literally inhale them. I'm like, you can
Mm.
chew once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. I get you. I love carrots and apples.
Yeah. It's so funny. We used to have another dog who has since passed on. So Max is our little boy. He's not a little boy anymore. He's a senior, but we call him our puppy boy. He's 14 and he loves
Mhm.
carrots. It's his favorite. If I start chopping carrots for dinner, he sits there and he like drools a little
I
because
know.
he
I
knows the
love it.
ends are coming to him. Toby was a huge fan of almost anything vegetable or fruit. Like he loved it all. And Max, we would try and give him apples. And when Toby was alive, he would sometimes reluctantly eat them because he saw that Toby was eating them. And once Toby passed, he's nope, not eating that anymore.
Oh, that's too funny. It's okay. If he's gonna have them, I'm gonna take them. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to enjoy it, but I'm going to eat
Yeah,
it.
I'm just gonna take it. Yeah, now apples are something we take with us, little pieces on our longer walks when it's warm out because it's nice and hydrating instead of, again, dried treats.
Yeah, that is such a good point that dogs need moisture just like we do.
Oh.
They need to hydrate.
Yeah, our
So
little Gracie hardly goes, she only goes to the water bowl when she's been playing.
oh, wow. Okay. Good to
Yeah.
know. You had mentioned before that you were talking to a lot of other pet parents who had pets who had different kinds of chronic health issues. Is that a growing trend in pets?
Yes. Yeah, and I would say from what I'm reading now, 50% of dogs over the age of 10 have some form of cancer. Now 10 can be old on the very senior side for older dogs, but why are they developing tumors? And so it's not just cancer, it's arthritis, it's so many digestive
Mm,
issues that are causing the food allergies, the gut sensitivities with like diarrhea, either intermittent or consistent. There's so much inflammation in
mm,
our animals. And
yeah.
and even when sometimes I'll talk to people and they're like, "My dog has been doing great on Costco kibble," or whatever it is. It's like, "Yeah, your dog's 8 years old and is hobbling around with arthritis." I think that's a problem where we have somehow started to become okay Just we've become okay with our own health. It's, oh, I'm getting older. My joints are supposed to hurt. It's supposed to be hard for me to walk now and all this stuff. And we accept it. And I think we're doing the same with our animals as they've slowly been getting sicker and sicker at a younger and younger age. We've started accepting it, right?
That is such an eye-opening thought
Mm,
because you're the first person that I've ever had on to talk with about this, but we don't really, aside from going to the vet a couple times a year, or if they're sick, we don't really talk to anybody about what is vibrant health for a
mm.
pet.
Is it normal for them to be biting their paws
Mhm.
frequently or
Yeah.
licking frequently? How are their ears supposed to smell?
Yeah.
What is their tongue supposed to look like? So,
And some of them, just like humans, have seasonal allergies. Like I remember at one point we had one foster who very clearly had seasonal allergies, and we wound up having to give him Benadryl. He just, otherwise he would just gnaw his paws raw because, and
right.
the vet was like, it's seasonal. And sure enough, we had him long enough that pollen season was over and he stopped and everything came back. But
But
they,
again, think again, just like with people, we
yeah,
carry a toxic burden. And one of the reasons that we get so sensitive seasonally is because our cup floweth over
yeah,
at times. And so, what else might be going on systemically that's raising that toxic burden? It could be a food sensitivity, it could
sure.
be even something environmental in the home. There's so much of that. Think about carpets, carpet cleaner, deodorizers that are plugged in and like electrical sockets near the floor.
And even just any animal that's come from a home, been surrendered to the shelter, and then gone to a foster home, like so many different environmental changes. Even if you don't have artificial fragrances or other things like that in your home, you have no idea what they were exposed to before. And
Right,
so that can
right,
be a challenge.
right. And that, just like with my people clients with pets, it's really focusing on healing their gut and making sure that the foods that they are consuming are working for them and not against them.
Sure. I need to ask then, how do you feel about vaccines for pets?
Yeah. So that's a touchy one, isn't it? Just like with people.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
I am not a doctor, so I do not recommend one way or the other for my pet parents
Sure.
for their fur babies. What I do is I refer to some really good studies and information provided by veterinarians that talk about the importance of core vaccines. And these are a very few core vaccines that at a younger age, but not as young as maybe what we're used to, they do recommend. But then if you read the literature, those vaccines, even by the manufacturers, say they're good for a minimum of 3 years.
Mm,
Minimum.
wow.
So many times you mentioned we don't go to we only go to the vet if we're sick. Why do you think maybe vets give you an email or a call every year to come get your animal vaccinated?
Yeah.
It's their business.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you only go in when they're sick.
Yeah.
And so it is a way to keep people coming in, but the pharmaceutical company even has every 3 years at a minimum. So my feeling on vaccines is, of course, talk to your doctor. I'm healthy. I'm happy to provide information and resources so the pet parent can make an informed decision. I don't like the idea of vaccinating animals when they are ill or
Sure.
when they are going through something else. If you're working with healing their gut or detoxing, skin allergies, something like that, I don't like the idea of introducing something else into the mix. The other thing that we can do is get titers. Just like with people, we can there are labs available online where you can get a titer for like rabies, for example, for your pet, because sometimes those vaccines are lifelong.
Yeah.
And it just depends where you're going with your pet, what you're boarding, and whether or not that situation allows you to proof of rabies vaccination status by antibodies.
And
or
so I really like the idea of core vaccination. I have to say, I wish I'd known about that earlier, and the idea of titers. And I'll also share for us, for example, we've only boarded Max a handful of times. And so he's only ever had Bordetella when he needed it because he was going into boarding. We usually try to get someone to come into the home so we don't have to
right.
worry about that. So I like that, being mindful about what the particular situation is. And if you have to do that rather than just automatically doing it all the time, that's a lot of sense.
Right. There are some vaccines out there that I have had just friends tell me, "Oh, yes, I'm getting my dog this vaccine." I'm like, "Why?" "Oh,
Yeah.
the vet recommends it." And then we talk about it, and I have her look it up, and there's one case in the last 5 years of
Mm.
this disease, which happens to be a bacterial disease. And by the way, if your dog does get sick, it's easy to take care of.
Oh, wow.
So maybe it does involve some antibiotics, but what's better, antibiotics for your like 0 chance of getting this disease or an annual vaccine?
Yeah.
That's the lepto vaccine.
Oh,
That has
yeah.
horrible side effects. And like you, Bordetella, I'm gonna go get that. Why? Are you boarding your dog? No, the vet
Yeah.
on her schedule.
Yeah, and so it makes sense, I guess. So again, it comes back to, this is a whole new area of holistic wellness that most of us are not familiar with. So finding someone like you to work with, who's an ideal client for you? Who generally do you typically tend to work with?
Yeah, so right now I'm working with pet parents for both cats and dogs, actually of probably middle age. So it's typically when people have started noticing that, oh, my dog is itchy a
Mm,
lot, or my dog's really picky eating, she's lost her energy, or cat, the skin is getting a little oily. It's typically parents that have pet parents that are taking their dog to the vet or their cat, they're
mhm,
getting medication. The vet is talking about dealing with the symptom, but not, and
mm, oh,
sadly,
uh,
vets are overworked, right?
mm,
Just there's not enough of them and they don't have time to deal with the root cause. So I guess that's really who it comes down to, are people that are trying to get help because they're seeing that something is wrong, but what they're getting are kind of prescriptions. And not just, by the way, medications. And this is a new thing to me. I don't know if it is to you, because prescription diets.
yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. So you take your pet, cat or dog, you get a blood test. The flow chart that's used says, oh, if this is high, use this prescription diet. And
Right.
they
And
will
then the bag has a number on it, so you know which prescription you're getting.
Yes, and basically it changes around the macronutrients, and sadly, too often, we're doing that prematurely, and we're not looking at the root cause.
Mm,
So often, by dealing with what are they eating, what are the environmental components, what's their lifestyle, we can get off, reduce some of those medications, like allergy medication, like
or
Benadryl.
I'm guessing possibly even like diabetes. Like, I know someone who has a cat with diabetes, and they have to, like, they started in the beginning going, "I'll just give the cat a pill," and then they got to the point where they now wrap it in a little treat, because pilling a cat, of course, is a
Right,
big challenging task, but they have to pill their cat every day and
right.
give them a special diet, and the cat now has to eat, I think, 3 times a day.
And it would be very interesting to see what's in that diet.
Yeah,
Like you said, so many, even if it's protein, right? Protein breaks down into
yeah,
glucose. So, looking at what is it that we can feed to help
sure.
reduce blood sugar spikes in cats is no different than with people.
So if someone's listening to this and all of a sudden going, "Man, I never thought about my pet. What should I do?" What is one small thing that someone could do right now that would be a really good choice to support their pets?
Yeah. It's always hard coming up with one small thing, right? Because we want to just help in so many.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say if you're feeding your pet a kibble or even a topping like a dehydrated food, offer
Mhm.
some fresh vegetables. This is more for dogs because cats don't need as many carbohydrates. They're not meant to metabolize carbohydrates the same. But one of the things that I do recommend is like Costco has this huge bag of organic Normandy vegetables in the freezer section. And
Yep.
you can get it in other stores as well, right? It's a huge bag, but it comes with cauliflower and broccoli and then orange and yellow carrots.
So it has carrots, and I believe it also has summer squash.
Okay, the one I have
We
does not have. So, but they
Oh,
do change. Normandy
yeah.
vegetables can change. Yeah. And so summer squash is also wonderful. And so what I would recommend is just always start slow with any
Mhm.
change. But say take a cup of frozen vegetable, cook it up, boil it so it's nice and mushy in some broth, for
Mhm.
example, or even water, and you're adding moisture and you're adding all those phytonutrients from the vegetables, like you're actually giving them real nutrient dense food, and frozen is okay. And
Yeah.
just put that on top of their food. And I don't actually recommend mixing it in. And I do recommend starting small because depending on, like you said, you have a Hoover for a dog, it's not going to be a problem. But some dogs are a little picky and you don't want to have them not like their food that they're used to eating. And so
Yeah.
it's just always good to, whether it's a transition or just adding a little bit, just take a cup, cook it in some broth, give it as a topper, and you're adding that nutrient to their food.
Yeah. So important point though, if they're not making the broth themselves, if they're using store-bought broth to make sure that there's no onions or garlic in it.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing with onions and garlic. I'm glad you brought that up. Is onions and garlic are not like deadly toxins. They're dangerous at, let's say, therapeutic levels. So you can actually, in the recipe that I use,
Oh,
that I got from Dr. Ruth. It's basically a template. So it's
uh-huh.
all approved by the animal food controls. We do use a little garlic. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
basically to get some of those little micronutrients that garlic provides, but
Down.
not enough to cause any problem. Yeah, I wouldn't feed an onion. I wouldn't feed whole garlic cloves. But
Right.
if it is cooked with it, it's not really a problem.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
really good to know
yeah,
because I remember years ago learning that dogs should not have any onion or any garlic, and
yeah, yeah,
sometimes
it's
I will make
interesting.
bone broth and I'll make it special for them that has no onion or garlic in it, just so that I can give it to them.
Yeah, so I would say, like, when I do make some broth for my dog, I don't add onion or garlic, but
Right.
if I happen to have broth that has some that I made, I'm not gonna not give it to her, if
Okay, there you go.
that makes sense. Yeah, it's interesting because if you Google, you'll see dangerous foods to give your dogs, and yeah, it's not necessarily all true.
No, that's really good to know. So I actually have another question for you because I live here in Texas and we are firmly in the throes of summer, although technically it's still spring, and fleas are about to appear. And
Mm.
I'm wondering if you have any suggestions for what to do for fleas without some of the toxic chemicals that they won't be.
Oh gosh. Oh, those chemicals are so toxic. Like, I probably 35 years ago, I remember giving my cat the flea stuff and she would foam at the
Oh,
mouth. And really, all I knew back then was, oh, that's a reaction.
yeah,
Not that they're having a freaking chemical toxic response.
right.
Do so, yes, I am not in favor of chemical treatment, whether it's on the skin or orally. Prevention is the first thing, right? So, depending on what your yard is like, there are some pretty cool things you can do, like using little nematodes,
Uh-huh.
right? You can order them online and you actually sprinkle them on your yard. There's plenty of essential oils that we can use that repel fleas. And I would say the biggest tip is that a flea lives 5% of its life on your pet.
Okay. Wow.
So
That's not
why are we treating
yeah.
the pet,
Why
right?
not treat the
So
environment? Yeah.
yeah, so vacuuming, cleaning, keeping the area clean, combing.
Hmm.
Combing the animal is same thing with ticks. Prevention is so much better.
Yeah.
And when you have, whether it's fleas or ticks, combing daily is the way to get rid of, and then cleaning your house, the way to go. And I am actually working on a blog post that, because it is that time of year, and believe it or not,
Yeah.
even in the Pacific Northwest, we get fleas.
I would love it if you can share that link with me. I will definitely put it in the show notes down below. That would be really helpful to have.
Okay. Do you know
And
there's something I forgot to mention?
what?
So one of the foundations of what I learned and studied was how to cook for
Oh,
my pet.
okay.
And
Yeah.
while I know some people are go with raw, some people are go with your cooked, I am more bio individual. Let's find out what happens. But I do cook. I have learned how to cook for my dog.
Uh-huh.
And it is a game changer for me because I think I told you I was having a lot of problems with her with skin issues and diarrhea. And cooking allows you to be able to select the ingredients. Think of rotation diets for people, but you can select a handful of ingredients instead of the list that's this long on even a high
Sure.
quality bag of food, and keep a food journal.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
she's
so
doing
fun.
beef
Yeah.
and broccoli and kale and green beans, and she's not having a problem. Then we introduce the chicken. Oh, look, she's licking her paws again and scratching her ears. And yeah, so I wanted to mention that because that is a big part of what I do, is help people if they want to cook, if that looks like a good thing to do, help them with the complete recipe of what that looks like.
That's very cool. Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I know you do work with clients individually.
Yes.
And if someone wanted to reach out to you to talk with you, how would they find you?
Yeah. So the best way is going to my website, which I'm sure you'll link, but the
Yes.
website name is embracenutritionnow.com. And I have a page on pet wellness. And from that page, you can sign up and select an appointment online for a Let's Get Started. Or on my website, I have a page that's Let's Connect, and you can just send me an email. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
We had one final thought to cover. It's all yours.
Yeah. So, Mira, I know we're talking about how I can help pet parents and their pets, but let me tell you, there is a need out there
Mm.
for more people who love animals to become holistic pet health coaches. And I am not concerned about there being too many of us because I can tell you that the chronic illness in pets is on the rise, as is the number of pets in our country and around the world are on the rise. So people like me are needed more and more. And so what I'd like you to do is include in the notes as well a link to Dr. Ruth's wellness course that she offers. And she's an amazing vet who has gone through all of this experience on her own, which is why she's now helping others like myself become pet health coaches that can kind of supplement what people are getting from their vets and really spend time working on the root cause.
That is great. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'll definitely put that in the notes below.
Yeah. Thanks, Mira.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anybody listening, I'm so glad that you are here listening to this in order to help you take care of your little fur babies so that they can have the best, most vibrant life possible, just like you. So
Oh, awesome.
thank you for being here. I'll put all the information in the show notes down below. Thanks for joining us, folks. And in all you do today, Make it a healthy day. Bye now.